What's up, YouTube? Google Hangouts. It's not the Crushcast, but you know what? We're doing a live cast anyway. Why not? Because I'm After Guys Crush here, rocking the Dean Ambrose Unstable t-shirt, which you can find on www.shop.com. And guesting with me today is my good buddy from the No Rights podcast. Say hello, Ben.
Hello, Ben.
How did I know you were going to go there?
I'm original.
Yeah. Okay. So, if you take a look at the name of this particular video, it's basically random game talk. There's a couple of things that have been going on lately in the world of gaming, which I figure I'd come up and I would address. Now I don't know how much you've heard about some of these topics, but no, we'll go ahead and kind of get on. How about it?
All right.
All right, so the first one that I'm going to cover here is actually one of the newest little bits that they have going on right now, and it is actually the acquisition that Sony has just made of a service called OnLive. And I know everyone's like, well, what's OnLive, or what was OnLive? At one point, OnLive was a much better streaming company than Gaikai. OnLive wasn't really ever a big company in certain terms. However, it was a company that a lot of people enjoyed, just because of the technology that they used. And Sony has now purchased them. And as of next week, they're shut down. It's over. Done. Finito. And if you're watching this and you're an OnLive subscriber and you've already purchased games through OnLive, you can still get your downloads through Steam. However, it's pretty much over for you. Most people think this is going to be a extreme hit to online gaming as far as gaming through your computer. But I mean, in my opinion, Steam's already pretty much taken that over. And OnLive at one point only had about 6,000 concurrent customers. So, I mean, honestly, yeah, it sucks that another small company's been bought out by a larger company, but in my opinion, these people are probably going to get to keep their jobs as opposed to, just kind of get left out in the dust.
Well, I imagine Sony's probably going to roll them into their own version of OnLive now, because obviously, well, this company's doing something we'd like to be doing better. We're just going to bring you into the fold here and shut down your service over there.
Yep.
I mean,
that's that's what they did with the Gaikai team.
The thing about OnLive was that you were able to play games for systems you didn't have, and you didn't. It was a lot like renting a game, where you didn't have to have the game. It was playing away, and the lag wasn't too bad from your controls. Because I used it a little bit when Rogue Legacy came out before I made a port for Mac, and the nice thing about it was you could spectate a lot like you can do on I think Twitch and other places now, where if you just want to watch someone else play a game, you can watch them. And I actually had people peeking in on my games because I'd just be obsessively playing the first 30 minutes because with the free trial, that's all you could do. It's just the same 30 minutes of Rogue Legacy, 30 minutes again. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. It was kind of what it was, and it didn't really have a lot of growth potential. So if you weren't using the service, I don't think a lot of people were really inclined to use it. So, I don't know.
I think that's part of it too. Is that it had such that limited growth potential where you just knew that they weren't going to go very far without some type of big backer support, and they could just never get it.
Yeah, it'd be like competing with like Netflix, and unless you have can pull in a lot of stuff like unless you have a big library of games that everybody wants to play, you're not going to get the draw that, I think it's probably good for the business that they got bought, but I don't think it's good for competition. So, oh well. Here's hoping that Sony doesn't just absorb them and then that whole thing disappears. Here's hoping that you see that in some iteration coming from Sony in the future.
Well, what you're actually going to see is them rolling that into PlayStation Now or PS Now. Have you ever heard of PlayStation Now?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a PlayStation, but I know of the PlayStation Network and all that fun stuff.
But basically, it's their streaming service. Anything that they have that's contracted to be on PlayStation now, you can. I think you have the option now of either paying per game, as far as like per day, as you can rent it for a couple days, or they could pay per month and get everything. I think it is now. The pricing still isn't where it's supposed to be, where it needs to be, but a lot of people are enjoying it and it's getting better. I think what they're going to do is they're just going to take that technology and apply it to PlayStation Now, or they're at least going to lock away the patents that way nobody else can get to them.
Well, I could see Sony using it because, I mean, you think about it, they've got the Vita and the PlayStation TV and stuff where it's all about streaming from your console to this other device. So absorbing another company that does something very similar, it makes sense.
Yeah. Um, so pretty much, like I said, that's going to be just done as of next week. It was announced on Friday, and I think it's all supposed to be shut down by Tuesday. So, um, another story that's been making around, and I haven't really covered this. Maybe I have. I can't remember if I did a video on it or not. But Nintendo has their, and Nintendo, if you try to flag this video for any reason, for copyright content, we're gonna have issues. But Nintendo's content creator program that they just released a couple months ago is claimed, honestly, an actual victim in the YouTube game. And this is where you screwed up, Nintendo, because this is probably the worst thing you could have ever done for your fans and your install base. And here's why. YouTube generally doesn't like us talking about how much of a split that we get, but YouTube gives us a pretty fair deal, I believe, as a content creator, as someone who is monetized. YouTube gives us a pretty good cut. Honestly, they could just sit there and say, "Well, just you make videos for us, and we take all the money." I think it's a 60-40 split, whereas we get 60 and YouTube takes 40. And it's pretty common knowledge. What what Nintendo is doing now is it's like, well, you can sign on with us, and you'll continue to get money. But here's the thing: you'll get money after Nintendo takes their own cut of your money. I think it's like a 70-30, and I think you only get the 30. And that's after YouTube takes their cut. Nintendo doesn't make any promises of promoting your videos. Nintendo doesn't make any promises of boosting your views, anything like that. And that's way different from a standard MCN, which MCNs for a lot of people aren't good anyway. But I'd rather go with an MCN than go with Nintendo. Well, here's the big thing now. One of my favorite channels and somebody that I really respect in the YouTube community because he really doesn't care and he will say what he needs to say is Angry Joe. If you don't know who Angry Joe is, just look up Angry Joe on your search taskbar up there. You'll find some of the most honest, in-depth, and true reviews that you'll see for a lot of games. He normally does a lot of AAA titles, but he also does Let's Plays, and he has his website where they do a lot of campaigns and whatnot. But he tried to do, I think it was a Mario Party 10 video, and Nintendo flagged him. Didn't flag a particular song, didn't flag a particular piece, flagged the entire video. And, what Nintendo doesn't realize, yes, they have legal basis to sue, blah, blah, blah. But at the state that the Wii U is in right now, you need all the free publicity you can get. And now with this new Nintendo content agreement policy, whatever that they're trying to push on us, it's pushing about, I'd say about 70 to 80% of all possible content creators right out the door. That's free advertising that you're not getting, that you need right now. The DS is keeping Nintendo afloat because the Wii U is almost dead in the water. 2 to 3 games a year tops for a console that has no third-party support.
Hmm.
And that is, he's done.
Hmm. Look. Hmm. Well, I mean, the whole situation with Nintendo wanting to take their chunk of proceeds and whatnot. You have to remember that the right now the long-standing that they've had about how they handle profits is, well, if you make a video of a Nintendo game, we're taking all of the profits from the ads for that. So the idea that they're splitting, in their mind, they think it's a good deal. Although, let's be honest, that's not. and, but
No.
but realistically, it's like if you have to explain it to a company of why a thing isn't working for them, you're not going to make much headway. And really, with Nintendo, if you're a diehard Nintendo fan and you're going to get the next their console, and you're going to get the next Mario game, you're going to get the next Link game. I mean, Nintendo hasn't had a history of bringing out a lot of third-party games in the last 2, 3 generations of their consoles, so I kind of see them being very insular about it and it not really mattering one way or the other how we treat them. So. I mean, I don't know. They're not. I don't think they're competing in the same biosphere as the PS 4 and Xbox One. It's kind of a different argument. It's like saying Apple and Microsoft are competing. It's like, well, they see themselves as different things. So if they want to do their own thing and not be held to the same standard or try and approach the same people the same way, I don't know.
I could see that if they weren't competing for the same consumer. Apple versus Microsoft right now. Apple has been on that other level for about the past 10 years, and Microsoft has just been playing catch up. And the only reason why Microsoft is, staying afloat as, a hardware and a software company is the fact that the product's cheaper. I mean, you take a look at how the Windows Phone is. The Windows Phone is trying to stay on that same level of a price level, and they're getting killed. Getting killed.
Well, I mean, when Microsoft brings out a product, they'll stay in for like 10 years taking a loss just to have a foothold in that market. I mean, when the Xbox came out, that was a loss for at least 10 years for them. And they just wanted to have that foothold in that market. And, when you compare it to the Windows Phone and the Zune and stuff like that, that's stuff that's out there and it's never made the headway that Apple
Yeah.
does. And Microsoft has always just kind of done whatever. They've done, like, we're going to make this device, we're going to make this stuff, and sometimes it works and it catches on, and other times it doesn't. But, like, I mean, they're not known for PCs. There's PCs known for running Windows. It's like they're kind of just spreading themselves all over everything. So, as opposed to putting your all eggs in one basket, it's like they're putting out whatever. If one thing sinks, because like if people stopped buying the iPhone or the iPod, that would take a huge chunk out of Apple's strength. But Microsoft, I don't know. They're very different beasts to compare one to the other.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing right now with Nintendo is that they're just leaning all over the DS. The DS market is what's keeping that company in business, and the reason why I believe that they are in so much trouble is very simple. How they are constricting, and if anybody thinks that this is nothing more than a miscalculation by Nintendo, you're either blind, stupid, or don't know what you're talking about. The constriction of like those crappy little amiibos. That is a just concerted effort to try to build up false demand for the product.
Ballston.
Because I'll tell you what, my Walmart that I work at, we get them in all the time. All the time. Like I can't get rid of those things. The only one that's ever seen an actual surge in sales is the Gold Mario, and even the Gold Marios still hang around for a couple of days. That's the first one that's actually seen any type of interest.
I don't know, man. I mean, it all depends, like, how big the scope is, because, I mean, we can't really sample just by our local Walmart, because, I mean, look at the new DS. Like, I've heard all kinds of stories about how people had to travel miles out of their, area to find one, and it's like, I went to Meijer recently, and I saw they had, had them in the case, and it's like, well, you're not supposed to be able to find those in most stores. So, I don't know. It's just a
But
matter of
that's
what
what
you
I'm
can
saying,
find.
though. They know that they can supply the smaller markets and create that false demand, because that's what it is. It's false demand. You know, if Nintendo truly believes in their product, they're going to say, okay, well, we have this much of an install base to work with between the Wii U and the new 3DS that we're bringing out. We need to have at least a backstock of X amount to meet that supply. It's not rocket science. Nintendo's been doing this for years. They did it with the Wii. So I'm sorry. Everyone's like, well, I can't find a Wii 2 years after it's out. If you can't figure out your supply chain in 6 months and hire more people to create a product, and then of course people started catching on to the games with the Wii, but I mean, Nintendo's been playing these games for years and no one's called them out on it.
Hmm, I don't know. They're doing what they're doing, and they're gonna probably keep doing what they're doing. So,
Well, and that's the thing too, is that some people are starting to get wise to it, and people are really starting to get wise to what's going on. Everyone's like, well, it's a unique product, and the amiibos are a unique product. And I'm like, you do realize that there's two video games out there called Skylanders and Disney Infinity that proves you otherwise, right? Oh, but it gives you exclusive content in the games. That's what Infinity and Skylanders do. It looks really good on a shelf. I can buy a statue that doesn't do all this wacky crap for $5, and you're charging like $12.96 a pop for these things.
well, I mean, really, when it comes down to it, if you're that hardcore Nintendo fanboy, you're gonna buy it regardless. And I'm not, so that's why I don't have one. I don't have any new next generation console just yet because I haven't really seen any games that I've been interested in playing on any of them yet. So I don't know. I kind of lean more towards the indie game side anyway, personally. So
Well, see, with me, like I enjoy the DS that I have, and to be fair, the DS is a fantastic portable. I've actually fancied myself a little bit more of a portable fan the past few years. I mean, I do have my PS4, my PS3, but a lot of what I've been playing lately is on portable. Uh, I mean, mostly been like playing like Pokemon and whatnot, but there's a couple really good games like um, couple really good Bleach games on the DS. I've actually wanted to try like a Call of Duty on the DS just see what it feels like. Uh, but like I've been thinking to myself more of a portable guy. I got in on the ground level at the Vita on week one release. I love my Vita. And the value of my Vita is just expanded by the simple fact that I get my free games every month and my discounted games every month through PlayStation Plus.
mm, yep.
I
I don't
I,
know.
I love, man. If you ever get into more modern gaming and the even the indie games, since you say you're more of an indie game guy, I check out some of the stuff that's on PlayStation for the Vita. I mean, games like Tearaway and Gravity Rush. And one of the best things that I love the most about my Vita is the influx of awesome third-party Japanese games. And you're talking about like Hyperdimension Neptunia, Deception, um, excuse me, man, Akiba Strip. These are all just games that just came out within the past year or so. Persona 4 Golden was fantastic. It's just title after title after title, and that's even going to some of the games that don't really get a lot of play in the States. I mean, most people will take a look at something like Deception 4 Blood Ties and say, what is this crap? And if you're someone who has an affinity more to that Japanese style of gameplay like me, you're like, oh man, Deception 4, pick that up. Oh yeah, I was playing Disgaea there for a while. I was really digging that. It's really good stuff out there. Really good stuff. If you're really into like the Japanese style of gameplay, I think the Vita is going to give you the best experience, and that's kind of bled over to PS3. Deception Floor and Akiba Strip came out for the PS3 not too long ago as well.
Hmm.
I don't even know how I got onto playing like stuff from Xseed and this. I have no idea how I just dropped into it. I think it was trying to find Persona for the PSP. Because I saw somebody playing it one time. I think it was.
Yeah, Persona games. People that play those games really love them. But I don't know. I don't have.
They're addicting. I'll be honest. They are addicting. Don't ask me why.
Yeah,
Don't ask me why.
I just don't have the hours to sink into a game right now. I don't know.
I know the feeling.
Maybe that's why I like roguelikes so much. I don't know.
Whew.
Was playing a little Spelunky yesterday. Kept dying. Go, no, frog, no. Oh, no. Oh, the little boomerang guy. Why? Why, boomerang guy? Why?
Okay then.
You ever played Spelunky? It's a fun game.
I think I played it once or twice.
The only thing I'm not a big fan of is the amount of hits you can take before you die, because it's not very forgiving. It's like, oh, I stepped into it, I'm dead. Okay, restart. Oh, I'm dead again. Well, okay, let's try it. Oh, I got 8. Well, okay. But then again, I've seen people play the game all the way through and gone, woohoo, and then their next playthrough, oh, I'm dead. So.
It's a game of chance, huh?
No, it's just a roguelike. Sometimes you have a good game, and sometimes you die. You got roguelikes. Basically, you're gonna die a lot. Just get used to it. Get over the fact that you die, and then move on in the game. Okay. Oh, I died. Okay. I mean, Rogue Legacy is built on dying a lot. That's hence the legacy part.
So you said you don't have any of the next-gen consoles at all?
Nope. Last console I bought was the Wii, so... Well, no, I did buy an Ouya. We've had this discussion before.
For the record, that's not a game console.
Hey, it comes with a controller, therefore it's a console.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Just because it has the internal components of a giant Android phone doesn't... Oh, not even giant. It's still in a box. But still.
Don't get me into mobile gaming, because I can rip Nintendo apart on that too.
I like the idea of the Ouya. I just really wish that some good third-party developers would roll some better stuff out for it. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that is one thing that I told people would never get off the ground. I said, these micro consoles is what they were calling them. They'll never get off the ground because they're, number one, there's too much of an ability to pirate, too much of an ability to run an emulator, and no game company in their right mind that's a AAA game maker is going to want to drop games for something that can be tampered with. That's the number one reason.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see people running Assassin's Creed on a Ouya while they're sitting there and flying while they're shooting people with a gun in the middle of Rome? I can see it happening.
I've seen video of a guy who got a Grand Theft Auto Vice City, the Android version, running on his Ouya, but he couldn't get sound. He's like, I don't, whatever. I mean, it looks like crap because it's the Android version, but what do you want? It's on your.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's one of those things. It is what it is. I mean, I think the thing holding it back is that a lot of Android games are designed with, touch controls, and that doesn't make the little strip for the Ouya control, you know, you're like, okay, so I've got physical buttons, and then I've got this touch strip, so I got to pretend I'm touching a screen, and this is a little weird here. It's like, I want to play the Minecraft Pocket Edition, but it's not formatted for the Ouya. So it would just be awkward.
You mean Legos?
Doug.
That's right. I'm in the minority on this one. Minecraft is a virtual Lego game. Get over it.
Well, here's the thing, Doug. That game has made billions of dollars. People have made entire YouTube lives out of playing it.
Playing Legos.
It's a fun game, and it doesn't show any sign of slowing down anytime soon. So people like Legos, Doug.
I don't know.
Lego is
shutting down the server parties and whatnot.
What?
Them making sure people can't charge for extra items, and people saying they can't run servers on Minecraft anymore because they can't charge.
That's not how the EULA was written out, though. The whole point was you can't charge extra for items that are already in the game, and there were people running servers that would charge like, oh, get diamond armor if you pay an extra so much, and then all of a sudden people's kids started signing up for servers, and their parents go, how come I'm being billed for this, and complaining to Mojang about it, and they're like, it's not us doing it, it's that server you signed up with. So
My thing is, why would you let some people letting their 5-year-olds do this?
well, people let their 5-year-olds play with a tablet, and then there was that kid in Russia who spent 10,000 rubles or whatever on iPad games, and they're like, that's quite a bit over here. Yeah, kids figure out stuff, and then if they don't understand the concept of this isn't just in-game tokens, this has real monies. And then there's some things that when they're made by developers who are trying to make money, they'll slip all kinds of things where, oh, you accidentally pressed the wrong button, oh, you just agreed to pay $5 for this or $5 for this other in-app purchase. It's like, oh man.
Yeah.
So,
oh, freemium games.
Premium? Well, or as we called them back in the day, shareware. Memory.
I'd probably just call it payware.
I don't know. I mean, if you make the free thing actually worth it, I mean, granted, people will play a free thing to death before actually, buying a thing. That's why you don't see demo discs anymore. It's like, no, I'll just play this one stage of the game 16 times in a row and then move on to something else. Hey, why would I want to pay for anything? No. I don't know, though. Well, laundry's done. Either that or somebody got big bucks, no whammies.
See, there really isn't a lot of anything extremely, heavy going on right now. I hear a lot of people pronouncing the death of the Vita again, which, like I said, there's enough third-party support on that to last. I have my issues with how some companies treat the Vita, Electronic Arts.
Oh, I'm sure, Doug, you're the only person in the world to have a beef with EA. You're the only person to ever complain about EA. I mean, never mind when SimCity came out and everyone was like, what is this? I'm losing my mind over this. And now people have made an alternative to SimCity, and former SimCity modelers are making mods for it.
So here's my beef with EA. Now, okay, you make one game, for this console at launch. And to be honest, it's a pretty good game. It's a pretty good game. FIFA Soccer for the Vita. Now, I don't expect a lot out of a sports game that's made for a portable device. I really don't. However, when the three people you have on the dev team for this game decide, well, we kind of don't want to change anything, but we want to change like the names and stuff, so we just go ahead and we'll reskin everything in the game. Put in a couple new names, this, that, whatever. Put in a couple new teams that just got put together, and then release it next year. And it's essentially the same game. You're going to charge the same price, and then you're going to do it again for another 2 years. I have a problem with that. If your dev team has the balls to do that, you know that you have money to just throw away on something like that. So now, we started complaining as gamers. So you know what they have now?
What do they have now, Doug?
The Legacy Edition. It's the Legacy Edition. And we're still going to charge you the same amount for the Legacy Edition. The Legacy Edition. The Legacy Edition where you're trying to effectively screw us over. Like, why would you even keep making the game if you know what you're doing?
Why would this multi-billion-dollar company keep making a game that's making them money that they don't have to think about, and they can just fart out every year, so that way they don't have to think about actually developing a new one and making more monies?
I don't even know if they're making money on it. That's the thing.
You know they're making money. Otherwise, why would they bother doing it? They would do it once and go, well, we didn't make any money with that, and cancel it. I could see that not making money with that. I mean, how much do people really demand to see out of the change in Madden every year? How much? As long as you skin it up so they can see their favorite new player, that's all they care about. A lot of these people do. People that aren't into the gaming, they just want to see this month's thing. You can say the same about war games too. As long as there's a new Call of Duty, it doesn't matter what the storyline is. There are people that are just going to get it because it's the new one.
Well, the thing about it is this: I would understand if it was a couple minimal, bumps in gameplay, a couple changes or whatnot. But the biggest thing that they have is that essentially nothing in the game has changed. The coding is still the same. The only thing that really has changed is it's been reskinned. Even the menus haven't changed. That's the menus, the player models in the menus are essentially the same. I still have FIFA Soccer that was released on the Vita. That was the first game I ever bought, and I still have it because I don't see a need to buy a new one. That's why I'm saying that they can't be making very much money off of it.
Let's see, it's return on investment. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's not quite as easy as the Tiger Electronic games where it's like, oh, it's the same flickering graphics. Let's just put a new team logo and now it's soccer.
Yeah. But the main thing that we're having issues with was that they've done this now so many years in a row, and they're still charging the higher price for it. Like, if you're gonna do that, because some people like me, I would probably pay like $15 for a reskin, honestly. If it was really the same game, it's like, okay, well, this is the Legacy Edition. Here's what we've done. We've updated some of the player models. We've updated the names and reskinned, and also put in a couple new teams. And this is what it's going to be. And we're not going to charge you $40 for that. They're charging $40 for that. I can't see paying that. I can't see dropping $40 for a reskin game.
I don't know. I mean, I can see a lot of arguments with stuff like like there was that Battlefield Hardlines, and people were like, the game is basically, it could have been a DLC for the other Battlefield game, but they want $60 for it. So
yep.
when it comes to pricing new games, they'll roll them out with this insane price, and they'll try and get as much money as they can. And you're right there, Doug.
Yeah, I'm good.
My mom's just returning my hammer. So, hi, Mom.
Hello, mother of Ben.
Bye, Mom. So anyway, yeah, you missed all the fun news stories that Ian left us for the show last night because he wasn't able to be on, but he did leave us news stories. So
Really?
you're gonna have to. And Frank wasn't having most of them. Like there was one about the stop motion animation done with a 1,000 plus mini Rubik's cubes. Yeah, you're right there. Like mini Rubik's cube. Look, my arch nemesis, the Rubik's cube. And then there was a guy who was. Then there was a top Microsoft developer that was speaking at an open conference, and he was talking about how, oh, could Windows go open someday? Oh, maybe. I'm like, I kind of doubt that very much, but
I don't know if any of you people out there have already realized this. Windows is essentially already open source.
well, I mean, considering there's all kinds of different news stories, like not too long early in the year, we had people going, oh, it might go subscription only, and you might need to pay a subscription to use Windows, whatever. It's like, really, I don't know at this point. They can do whatever they want. So,
Jeez.
fun times. Then he had one about John Deere doesn't want people customizing the computers on their cars because they might use it to pirate music. I'm like, yes, I can just picture the guy riding around going, she thinks my tractor's sexy. He's also hacking his computer. It was a fun show.
Oh, dear.
But you'll have to listen in if you want to hear who won the trivia last night, because I won't tell. What?
I don't even want to think about the no, I'm not gonna. I'm moving
Hey, I
on
didn't
now.
pick the trivia. Ian provided the link for this week's trivia, and then Frank narrowed it down from all the trivia on the site. We did movie quote trivia, and it got to very simple trivia. Like, hey, the quote, one of the quotes was, "Use the Force, Luke," and we're just like, what? Really? Okay, that's what we're doing. I just love how trivia questions go from like, we might as well not ask this. This is so easy. To, hey, you heard about this movie from nowhere from like 1920 or whatever? It's like, what? So difficult. So what? Never heard of it.
So moving on. That's really the main topics this week. Just want to go ahead and kind of shoot up a vid here with my buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. But we're gonna go ahead and kind of dip out here. But I want to thank everybody out there for watching. If you like what you see, go ahead. Where's it at now? The subscription is somewhere in this general direction. Somewhere
It's
here.
in your mind, man. Just
Mind.
click the like button, subscribe, comment in your
Like, comment, subscribe.
What's up with that dude's facial hair? For reals. ... And then, no, man, I have the same hair. It's awesome. Shut up, flamer.
All right. Well, I do want to thank you very much for coming on, Ben. Cannot wait to do this again someday. One day.
Some
Who
someday you'll
knows?
be back on my show, and we'll be doing the
Yeah.
trivia, and you'll be crying. No way! Who came up
I
with
will be
this?
bringing the pain.
No, I'll be bringing the pain, and it'll be the trivia questions again. I'll be asking more Hanson questions and in sync.
No. Uh, all right. Well, thank you everybody out there for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
He's out.